and you still see my screen, and it should show you my Canvas screen, and I'm going to click on this view as student so I make sure that it's there for you as well. All right. So everyone
Hey,
sees my
Graham.
screen. So week 6, welcome to the video. If you're joining the video online, right, and you weren't here in the class, the beginning part of the class was utilizing this class intro work assignment right here, this PNG 102925 class intro work. If I open that up, you'll see a little picture. We need to go ahead and copy that picture and start with this, right? So let's draw this utilizing our exterior wall layer, a 6-inch offset, and then dimensioning everything. Okay, so I gave you guys about 25 minutes to do that, and we're gonna go from there at this point. So, um, if you have questions about this, you're watching the video later, please reach out. I know I didn't cover it, but I also didn't cover it in class because it's kind of one of those things now that I'm going to give you an example and you're going to show me that you can do what we are doing. So it's week 6. We should be able to draw these lines. All right. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at the blocks that I have put in here. So what is a block? We talked about this a little bit last week, but what is a block? Well,
A
yeah.
set
What's
of
a
lines
block,
into
brother?
one group that associates as one object.
Absolutely. So if you would be so kind, I would love for you to share your screen if you wouldn't mind. Do you still have that project up?
I can bring it up.
Okay, cool. If you
Let
wouldn't
me
mind,
see.
I'd love to do it. It's a great segue to what we're going to be talking about today because your blocks are your own hand-drawn blocks. And they look great. No question about it. The blocks that we're going to be talking about may be a little bit more sophisticated, maybe a little bit more line work and bells and whistles in them. I didn't draw all these. I got them offline and converted them for you. Um, but yeah, if you want to share your screen, we'll talk basics about blocks. Will did a really good job um, trying to utilize AutoCAD for one of his other classes.
Yeah, well, someone else is still. It says someone else
Oh,
is
I'm
sharing.
sorry. Here, I'll stop. I thought.
Okay.
Here you go. Take it away.
All right. Let me see if I can. All right. Yep, that one.
And thank you guys in the chat. What someone asked the offset value. Thank you guys for, working with each other, right? There's only one of me and 19 of you. So this is great. This is Will had a clinic that drawing that he essentially a PDF drawing or a plan drawing, paper plane drawing, not sure, but that he took, drew it out in AutoCAD, right, with the basic stuff that we've learned, right, using basic exterior walls. He put some windows in. He put the doors in that we drew last week as a block. Okay, and then from there he went a little bit above and beyond and drew some toilets, right? So if you zoom into that restroom, you'll see a little toilet area. And the toilet isn't just line work, right? If you hover over that toilet,
Yeah.
it selects as a whole. Now go ahead and click that real quick. And I want you to type in EXPLODE, explode, on your keyboard. Yep, go ahead and hit enter. All right, now go ahead and grab it.
And then
So
what?
when
Oh.
when Will
Oh.
originally drew this, it was all line work. Okay, so he drew the toilet seat, he drew the back of the toilet, and you can see each part of those lines, right? Once you draw all of these lines to make something intricate, you don't want to copy and paste these lines around because at some point you're gonna accidentally stretch something, maybe something's gonna move on you, right? And so by creating a block, exactly right there, maybe you tried to move it and you grab that circle and now instead of, go ahead and do that. That's fine. We'll go back a step. That's great. Instead of moving your block over 3 inches like he was trying to, you accidentally change the shape of the block, right? And so when you're dealing with individual geometry, it can get a little bit funky if it's not all locked together. So let's hit Control Z a few times. We'll get that back to a block. Ultimately, you can select it all, type in block, and create a block. It's very easy to do. Um, we went through it last week. We'll go through it again
It'll just
more
you
stuff.
go back through and hit block again,
You hit
or
Control Z one
just
more
Control
time.
Z.
Control
Oh,
Z.
okay.
It'll block it back up. It'll unexplode it. You're good. There you go.
All right.
So what we did though is we did the reversal of a block just to show you how it was made.
So that's
I
what
had
the explode does then, right?
exactly. So that's what explode does. If you build a block and then you want to edit it later, you can come and explode the block, redo it, and reblock it together. Call it something else. Delete the other one. Whatever you want to do. Okay. This class, I'm not concerned so much about us building blocks. I think it's important to understand how they're built, and again, it's really just line work, right? It's drawing the two ovals right there, or drawing the kind of the square with the chamfered corners on it for that sink, right? Drawing a door, right? Drawing a window. All of these are blocks, and what that allows you to do is literally click and drag them and place them really easily. All right, so thank you, Will, for showing your work there. Very simple blocks, but very effective. Okay. I'm going to share my screen and I'll replace your current share. All right. So let me know when you got this screen again. So before we do anything, again, I've got a second one here. I'm just going to delete this. Um, just for reference, I know that like some of you may be struggling with this. Maybe it takes you 20 minutes. Maybe it takes you a half hour to draw this. I went through this not at a lightning speed, just at my normal drawing speed. And I drew this whole thing from scratch in a minute and 53 seconds. Um, Not saying that you need to be there, but if it's taking you 10 minutes to draw something like this, we need to try to evaluate what's going on with your process. Maybe you're getting screwed up by something, because all of these commands are really just type a number, hit enter, move your mouse, type a number, hit enter, or click once again, and click. Like they're pretty basic commands. We're not having to do any major calculations or do anything wild. So just understanding that, if it's taking you 10, 15 minutes to draw this, maybe we need to put in a little bit more time. Maybe you need to draw this twice. Maybe draw it in reverse. Maybe draw it upside down. I don't care what it is, right? But the more comfortable you get with learning to draw, the more comfortable it's going to be to start drawing much more complex items and being able to utilize your time efficiently so you can get the other views drawn that we need. Okay. Because next week we're going to start talking about elevation views um, and what we need to do there. And again, it's going to be a lot of line work. So if you're struggling with just basic line work drawing, okay, let's make sure that you guys are keeping up. So I'm going to delete this. Okay, I just wanted to share that that's, again, it shouldn't, it's not a rocket science program. I'm not expecting you to be, 2 minutes. But if this is, realistically, 5 to 7 minutes is probably a pretty comfortable zone for most people. If it's taking longer than 10, do it again. Time yourself. Maybe do it again. Time yourself. See, am I improving? Am I getting quicker at this? Because it's all about time in the saddle, right? So, I get that I've got, a decade of plus of, experience in this, and that's great. And it allows me to do my job efficiently. But if you're struggling with the basic commands of, some of these items, um, we really need to brush up and make sure you can keep up so that way when we start doing the more advanced stuff with these elevations, the more advanced stuff with these blocks, and actually putting rooms together, we're not just still stuck drawing these basic walls. Okay? Any questions before we move on with the next portion of tonight? No questions? Okay, cool. So I'm going to log into Canvas here. This is actually a different computer than what I was on earlier. I know it looks the same, but it works differently. Um, but it'll allow me to download my blocks to the right computer so I have access to them. All right. 838760. All right, so let's go ahead and get into your Canvas. Okay. Your fall 2025 construction 241. Let's go down to your modules, and I want to go down to, again, mine looks a little different because I got some more stuff, but this should all look the same right here. And we're going to go ahead and just start with bathroom blocks. We were talking about bathrooms. Let's go ahead and continue talking about bathrooms. So what I want to do is I want to go and I want to click this bathroom blocks. And when you click it once, it'll open up another window. And right underneath bathroom blocks in the black, there's a blue hyperlink. And when you click this, it automatically downloads that bathroom blocks into your downloads. So I can go ahead and we're just gonna go ahead and open up your downloads if you want. You can go this way. If you want to go file open and browse for it, that's fine too. Okay, but I'm just gonna click it. I'm gonna say I want to open it with AutoCAD, always for a DWG. And it's going to bring these lovely blocks that I have taken from cadblocks.net. And the only thing that I've done with these is I've done some scaling on them. Okay, so we can get into it. But ultimately these are scaled by a factor of like 0.00392578 or something like that. It's on the I've got it written on the flyer for the final exam. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. It's not an
That's
exam, but
gonna
it's a
that's gonna open up as a separate drawing, correct?
correct. Yeah. We're gonna copy them in, but yes, it'll open as a separate drawing. Good question. All right. Let me turn my volume up there too. All right. So if I go just real quick, bear with me. I just want to I know that I've got this number right here. So if I go to this, so just so you guys know where this is coming from, right here at the bottom of your construction. Again, this isn't available for you to use yet. I just wanted you to see this at the very bottom down here. It says, if you use blocks from here, right, from cadblocks.net. Okay. And this would be blocks that I'm not providing you. Okay, so when these came in, these all were super big. I had to scale every single one of them by 0.03937007787 to convert from my millimeters to the inch to get them to the right scale factor. So these have the ones that I am providing you have already been scaled. If you go to this website and download stuff, they will be about 100 times as large. Okay. So just FYI that I've done all that scaling work for you. Um, but there is, if you do use this website for something else, you need to scale them yourself. All right. So does everybody have something that looks like this now that shows up? If you got a bathroom blocks, and I'm just gonna go back to my drawing one real quick. Okay, I know I didn't add interior walls like some of you might have at this point. I'm just gonna go ahead real quick so I don't lose track of anything and do a save as and save my drawing. So week 6 construction drawing. Okay. So we'll save that. And now when I bring those blocks in and I save it, they'll stay in there. So what I want to do, and this is one of the only times I want to use this command. Okay, remember when we are utilizing, like let's say I've got this circle, right? And I want to move it or I want to copy this. Typically I'll use my copy command where I copy from this base point or I move from this base point, maybe to this secondary base point up here, whatever it may be, right? That's copying with a base point versus if you use your Control C, Control V, you can paste it, but you really don't know where it's going to paste, right? You just have an eyeball. It's not, I can't paste it 10 feet away. In this circumstance, okay, in order to get these blocks in the same drawing, we're going to use our Control C and Control V method, and we're going to place them up here and build a little bit of a library. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the bathroom blocks. Okay, I'm going to select everything. And by selecting everything, I'm just going to go from the top left, click once. I'm not holding it. I'm dragging to the right, and I'm dragging down, and I've got everything selected. Okay, if you grab these title blocks like this, not a big deal. Let's copy them over and we're gonna delete them on the backside. You'll see why in a little bit. Okay, but let's go ahead and use this. I'm going to use my, again, Control C command. So not my copy right here. That's copying with a base point, right? Or yeah, that's copying with a base point. Okay, I'm going to use my actual Control C, Control V method. So Control C for copy. And I'm going to come up over to here and I'm going to hit Control V. Now, when I hit Control V, it's going to place this massive block section and I'm just going to drop it somewhere up and to the right. Once I've dropped it, okay, I'm going to come here and I'm actually going to select. Let's see if I can select this title block. It doesn't, it may or may not let me. You may want to delete these. You may not. We'll see what happens in the next section. So I don't really care if they're there personally, but they do kind of get annoying. If you can grab the whole thing like that and delete it, that's ideal. Okay. But this one looks like it's no longer a block, it's been exploded. The reason being is when we grab the other ones, it actually tries to put these title blocks in again in a different location and it gets really funky. So we'll try that in a second. So again, if you want to delete this one, great. If you don't want to, you'll just deal with duplicate title blocks and not a big deal. But ultimately, everything here is water closets, right? So water closets being a toilet. Here you've got sinks, right? And not only do you have sinks in the plan view direction, but you'll notice that if you go down to the bottom of this, we've got elevation views of these sinks. So when we start building our elevation views for our exterior and our interior, maybe you'll have an interior elevation cut of your bathroom, right? We could use something like this to show that, this is the sink I've got. Maybe it looks like this in my side profile, right? Or this one in my side profile. And maybe it looks like this straight on, right? So anything that stacks straight up and down is typically a profile version of that same sink. Granted, there's a lot of different options, right? It's not going to stack perfectly, but you can kind of see right here these. That's kind of what it's intending. Maybe this has a cabinet, maybe it doesn't, right? So maybe you need to draw a few other lines, right? They might not be perfect, but they're going to get you going in a good direction. Any questions about bringing in those bathroom blocks? Were you able to select them from here and bring them in? I'm going to do it
Right.
one more time. Yes.
So I've been trying to get mine inside my workable area, but they always appear like in an angle, and I
At
don't
an
know, like
angle,
yeah,
like they're rotated.
yeah, rotated.
Is your plan view like your view cube up here look like this, where it's exactly northeast, west, south, top view? Because like
Right.
if we looked at it like this, you could look at things at an angle.
No,
Um,
I haven't been near that,
okay.
and when I move them over, they're just in an angle.
So can we here? Do you want to share your screen real quick? Is there anyone else that's having trouble bringing that in? So let's go ahead and share, and we'll see if we can troubleshoot what's going on. They are coming in at an angle, aren't they? Well, that's fun.
Yeah, and you see how they're squish.
They are. They're all skewed as well. Well, where's your... Okay, so can you hit Control Z and like get out of... Go back before you pasted them. Where's your drawing?
Right there.
No, where's your
Well,
drawing from today?
I'm sorry.
Where's your drawing from today?
I kept it separate.
Okay, so that's... Okay, so I don't know what... Okay, first off, that drawing is overriding your template every time, right? We're not truly opening up correctly if it says DWT at the end. Okay? Every time I want you to go to the start menu real quick. This everybody needs to watch this. Not up there. I need you to go down to the start menu on the very left hand side of those ribbons. So click right there where you're at. There you go. Every single time we come in, okay, and this is week 6, okay, we've been talking about this for 4 weeks. New. And if you click that template down there, click that template. Yes. It creates a new DWG, right?
Right.
Why does that one say DWT? Are we not going through that process?
I saw I clicked the because I open up when you
You
show
clicked
us, I
open.
open up like
You clicked
four
open.
of them.
Okay, so we need to make sure, and this is everybody, we need to make sure we're going through, and otherwise you're just adding stuff to your template every week, right? And then you're going to
No,
have
I,
other
I
things.
I I got it every single one separated. I don't know. This time I didn't want
Okay,
to be
the
left
whole
behind.
point of this
Right.
procedure is so you don't have to do what you're doing is save them all separate. You shouldn't have a new drawing template from
Can I
every.
just copy it?
No, we can't. You can copy that over. Yes, that's fine. I thought you meant copy the template. No, don't copy the
Oh,
template yet. Just copy that.
copy this and move
Copy
it
all
over,
of
right?
that. Hit Control C.
Oh, I forgot.
No, hit Control C. So hit Escape. This is the same way that we need to bring in those other.
My control C, no, it doesn't work for some reason.
No, it does. It does. Just hit Escape for me, okay? I want you to trust what I'm saying. Hit Control C. Select them
Uh,
all and hit Control C. Okay.
control C.
Okay. Now see right there, it says copy clip 29 found. It is working. Okay. Now I want you to go over to drawing one and hit Control V. And then go ahead and click right there. Okay. Now I
All right.
want you to go open up. I close those other two drawings. I don't know what's going on with them. Okay, close that one. Because again, I don't know your block drawing isn't up. That's what I'm trying to figure out. So let's go to your downloads. You can go to File Open. You can just go to your File Explorer. Doesn't matter. Did you download? You obviously downloaded those bathroom blocks. So double click right there and just open that up. Yep. Choose AutoCAD. Yep, the top one. You can click always for DWGs. That's fine. Okay. So now we're in plan view of this one, and we've got a plan view other drawing. So let's zoom out, get that all in the center. Zoom out so we can see everything. Pull back on your wheel. And then hold the wheel and you can pan. There you go. You can zoom out just a little bit farther so you can capture everything. Okay, so now click on the top left and drag to the top right and click again. I want everything, not just from there, from the very left-hand side.
You're saying,
Grab everything on the screen, please.
you say, select it.
Yes. Okay, let go, hit Control C. Copy clip 342 found. Now go back to your drawing one and hit Control V, and you're going to need to zoom out, and it's going to place them up to your top right. So hit Control V and zoom out even more. Now you're on your exterior walls layer, so that's why they're all coming in as blue objects. That's
There,
fine. You can, I don't care right now. You can just paste them.
I see.
Okay. And now they're back to white because they're going to come in on on layer 0 probably if you click on them, but they were trying to come in on they were trying to drop in on exterior walls. It looks like they're probably been put on layer 0, which is fine.
Got it. Thanks.
Okay. Does anyone else have an issue with that? Okay, let's go ahead and take 5 minutes. If you feel comfortable, okay, you can go ahead and actually let's do this one more time and then we'll take a little 5 minute break. So let's go ahead, go back to, I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, what I'd like to do today is I'd like you to get all of these different block families, or sorry, not families, all these different blocks that I've provided for you on Canvas downloaded and brought in. Okay, so we're going to go back to the modules. I'll get this back to normal size. I'm going to go down to, we just did bathroom blocks. I'm going to go ahead and click bed blocks. Okay, once I've clicked bed blocks, I'm going to click the second bed blocks down right here where it says download bed blocks. It should automatically start downloading. I can click open file or browse to it, and you'll see these come in. Same thing as before, right? Again, I've already scaled all of these. They're already the right size for your bedrooms. Okay, so we're going to click in the top left, drag the mouse to the right and down to select everything, click again, and we're going to use our Control C or our copy clip command. So Control C, it's now going to tell me right here, copy clip 306 found. Okay, and I'm going to go back to this week 6 construction and I'm going to paste. And when I paste them, this is what I was talking about with the title blocks. They kind of get all funky. So you might have to come back in and delete them. Okay, it's not a big deal. You still have all your blocks. If you want to take these and line them up with the other ones, you can always take them, utilize your move command, and just bring them over. And yes, these beds look a lot bigger, right? But I guarantee you, if I took one of these toilets, right, and I copied this, or actually I'm going to use my copy with a base point, so copy from here, and I put it, right next to that bed, that toilet is proportional, right? So yes, it's a smaller block, but it is the size that it should be. So if you are good with that and you are just ready to plow ahead and not wait for anybody else, okay, I have no problem with it. I want to make sure that all 7, I believe there's 7. No, there's just 6. We're not doing the section head yet. So all 6 of these block files I want to get opened up or downloaded, opened up, selected, copied, and pasted into our week 6 construction drawing, right? And we can just keep pasting them underneath. Okay, and if those title blocks get in the way, just click them and delete them. Any questions? We'll give it 10 minutes. I know it's been a lot already. So 7:10, and then we'll hit it hard till 8 o'clock. Sound good?
Quick question. Do you want
Yes.
us to bring those over now or after?
If you want to bring them now, fine. If you need help, I'll go through bringing them in after. Okay, I'm gonna still bring these in one by one with the group with the video, right? So we all get them together. If you are like, I got this, and you want to just keep going, great. Bring them in. Okay, and then what I'd like to see you do tonight is kind of divide this up with some interior walls and start copying and pasting them in. So you can take this, use your copy command. We don't want to take them and drag them. We want to leave this library. Okay, but you could bring that over and now, again, this is a small little area, right? So maybe this size, maybe a master king bed with 2 nightstands isn't what we need in this tiny studio apartment. Okay, so be wise on what you choose, right? Maybe I want to just use this little bed because that's about all the space I have in here, you know, and now I could actually, have a little TV and a little kitchenette and a whatever, right? So that's the goal, is to build out a small little apartment today. Um, But before we can do that, we got to get the blocks added. So if you are still struggling with the blocks, I am gonna go ahead and walk through the next four block imports, or download and copy in. Um, but if you want to blaze ahead, by all means. Okay. Good question, though. You don't need to do it right this second. So if you want to, by all means, you can grab them and download them all and copy and paste and put them in about 2 minutes. So again, not rocket science, just a workflow that needs to be followed.
Hey, Graham, you there?
I am here.
All right. I'm having a problem with the bedroom sets, the beds. They're like about the size of my house when I'm copying them. They're the only ones I'm seeming to have that problem with when I do the bed blocks.
Well, some of them, and that's what I was saying. Our house is tiny, right?
Yeah, but I mean, literally, one of the beds is the size of the house.
Okay, well, you're talking that like this one here with the rug.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole, it's bigger
Okay,
than,
okay, well, look at
yeah.
it. I get that, but look at how big this is. Okay,
Okay,
this
so
is
just
six
put a
foot.
scale on it.
That's the scale. That's it.
All right.
No, that's why I was saying we built a really small apartment, used an appropriate size bed.
So that's like, okay.
I mean, you can grab your dimension on it. Like
Yeah,
we
that's
can,
what I'm doing.
this is that rug is 10 feet across.
Okay, so 15 feet 6 inches. Yeah,
I mean, you're
that's just
looking
the
at
backboard is.
this whole thing is 120 square feet, while our apartment's only about 250. So
Okay. It's funny because it just looks like, I mean,
that's what I'm
compared to the other scale of the bathroom stuff, it's like
correct, but that's what I'm saying.
enormous.
Bathroom is just a toilet, right? The shower, if you bring this
Yeah.
big old shower in and place it, it's not that. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's right. It may look big, but it's
Yeah,
right.
because well, when it comes up, the title boxes are like separated and small.
Because that one gets, that's what I'm saying. The title blocks get funky when another one's been brought in prior. So
Oh,
unless you
okay.
clear
Okay.
all this
I'm
out,
seeing it now. All right. So
that's
you
what I
just
was
get
trying to
just
say
delete it,
earlier,
right?
but this wasn't behaving correctly and I didn't want to keep trying to delete crap. So
Oh yeah.
it's not going to affect anything. The blocks are going to come in the right size.
All right. That's
I have done the hard work for you. All right. And I had to put all these together. Like these all came as multiple different sets that I had to put together to get this. So,
I appreciate the work you put in.
all right, thank you. All right. Is everyone back? Give me a thumbs up if you're back around here. Um, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at downloading the rest of these blocks for our house. There has been some questions brought up about the scale of the blocks. I told you earlier that the scale is right. And it looks like, oh my gosh, this bed is so big. Well, this bed has a massive rug underneath it, first off. Okay. The rug is 10 feet by 12 feet. So this whole thing is like, 150 square feet almost. Yeah, it's going to be as big as our one bedroom apartment, studio apartment, right? We drew this really small today. Okay. So you may have trouble fitting everything. And that's kind of what I wanted to be a challenge, right? You got to figure out how to make things fit. So I am doing, just FYI, this is my basic layout. I took a wall that was roughly 8 feet. I believe it extends 8 feet past this window and straight up. I think this is like 5 feet. So this is going to be my little bathroom. And then the rest of this is going to be an open floor plan area. So maybe I'll have a bed over here. This will be kitchen area and living room type deal. So I'm not putting in a ton of interior walls just because I know how small of a footprint this is. It's up to you how you want to break the space up. I don't care. I don't even care if, they fit perfectly in there. I'd like to see things fit, but like let's do what we can. So, that's why we've made it a little bit of a challenge when you guys design your house and how big you want to make it. Totally cool, right? We're just trying to keep the size down, keep the drawing down. Next week we'll step it up. Okay. So,
Question.
yes, someone had a question.
Yeah, me. So basically, we're just gonna make some interior walls, make some rooms, add some furniture, and then other necessities, and then just turn it in.
That's pretty much what we're gonna do tonight. Absolutely. Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yep. Absolutely. So if you think you can do that, by all means, I'm gonna keep walking people through it. If you want to bail out, that's what we're gonna be doing is continuing to insert this. I want to see a complete product, so make sure that we've done our best to create something that's gonna be substantial, not just like I got this wall in, I threw two pieces of furniture and I'm gonna turn it in and I'm out of here. Like, um, we talked about homework last week. There's a few people that have, we've talked to about special circumstances, but if I have not talked to you about a special circumstance, anything from here on out needs to be turned in prior to the next week, or it will not be accepted. It will be a zero. Okay. We need to keep up with this class. We can't continue because I've got a lot more material to get through. Um, Unfortunately, I understand that we need to go through and we need to spend time troubleshooting things, but as soon as that kind of can end up snowballing and we've got 15 minutes, wasted trying to figure out one problem, I understand it needs to happen, and that's why I try to take it offline at this point. Um, but let's make sure that we're, putting our best effort forward. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead. Can everyone still see my screen? Um, should be back looking at a Canvas screen. Okay, I assume that's a yes. I don't really, no one's given me a thumbs up or anything, so. Okay, there's one. Cool. All right, so we're gonna go here. Again, we downloaded the bathroom blocks already, the bedroom blocks. Okay, we're gonna download the door blocks. Now, last week I drew a very basic door for you guys to see. Okay, that is a door that you sometimes, there's tons and tons of styles of how to draw doors and how to draw that opening, and you'll see that here. So we're gonna download these door blocks. Okay. Last week was really just to show you, how we draw this, where we get these dimensions, how you rotate it, how you can create that center point. Okay, but if we've got the blocks to use, we've got the blocks. So we're gonna go ahead and utilize the blocks on the Canvas site for the door blocks. Download them, go ahead and open it up. And you'll see a lot of these, okay, are opening swinging, right? The door's sitting outward and it creates an opening between it, right? So they do look at the hair different. Not a big deal. Again, use whatever you want. Keep in mind, okay, that there are different widths of doors here. Okay, so if you use your dimension tool and take a measurement, okay, that's 30, roughly 31 inches. Why does this seem so crazy? Yeah. Right, yeah, 2'7", 11/16. So again, it came from metric. So it's roughly, 2'8" door. You can take a dimension on it if you want to, but what I'm getting at is that was 2'8". And if we look at this guy here, maybe I'll just draw a line to, and that's another thing you can always do is just use your line tool. So that line or that door opening is 3'4". Now, granted, that's the opening of the door. You've got this jamb where the hinges go, so that opening probably is 3'3" 3.5", right? So is it perfect to a US standard stuff? I don't care. Okay. If you want to go find something else, by all means you can, but these that I'm providing are close enough. Okay. So again, just like we have done before, last but not least, you've got some kind of cool stuff here on the sides if you needed like a circular door, right? Going into maybe a clothing store or something like that. Maybe you've got a vestibule outside your door, maybe like going to Dick's Sporting Goods. I'm sure that's the exact setup that they have. Go into a lot of major retail stores. You've got a gap and then another, just to hold the heat inside, right? Hold the heat in, hold the cool out, whatever, or hold the cool in, hold the heat out, whatever you want. This helps so much more. That revolving doors are fine, but there's a lot of heat loss with them still. Um, so anyhow, there's some cool stuff in here, and then there's also profiles. So if you want to get super fancy on your front door, there are some pretty cool looking front doors.
Quick question.
Yes.
It's a dumb one, but how do I rotate?
How do you rotate? Okay, that's a great question. That's not dumb at all. right? So let's go ahead. I'm going to copy these in and then we're going to place one in just a second. Okay?
Yep.
So let's go ahead. Again, I'm going to select all of these starting at the top left with one click down to the bottom right, utilizing my Control C command. I grabbed 420 items. You can see that right there. It says copy clip 420 found. I'm going to go back to my drawing, use my Control V command, and then I'm just going to make sure that they're on 0 when they paste. There you go. And let's go ahead and utilize one of these doors. So I copied this in. Okay, I'm going to utilize my door command. Now, some of these you may have to take the layer, and once we've actually copied it over, this is when I would change your layer. So let's bring this door here. I'm going to take my ortho off. Okay, it's a pretty big front door, but that's okay. You know, that's why I built the opening the size I did. Okay, and so I just placed it on the corner. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take a dimension real quick just so I understand where center is going to be on this. So use my dimension tool, and I like this guy, my line dimension. We're going to go from here to here. So that's 1 foot 14 inches, right? So I'm going to move this over 7 inches just to center it up. So move. I'm going to turn my ortho back on. So I'm only moving it to the right 7 inches. And then maybe this is, you know, a different depth of wall thickness, right? We'll just go ahead and move this down roughly to here. And if you wanted to in this area, I guess, you know, if you wanted to match this, what you could do if you really cared. I don't care, to be honest. Again, well, this is pretty, you could just go ahead and kind of move it up. You could measure it, figure it out where center is, right? You could do something like that, move it there. You could also take this, and this is getting a little bit more advanced, okay? But you could also take this, move this door to the edge, take this block, explode it now that I've put it here, and we'll take this and we'll move this down to here. We'll take the bottom of this guy. You could move it down to here, right? So you can actually fill the space. Same thing here. And if I felt the need that I want to utilize this door somewhere else, I could take this now that it's exploded, it's no longer a block, right? We had to explode it to be able to change that. But now I could go ahead and grab all of this, type in block, and real quick before I do that, because I really like to know how big is this door, I like to make sure, okay, and I guess I could grab this. This is, although it's not gonna give me the, oh, there we go. So let's just call this a 3-foot door. Okay, so 36 inches. But that should be, we'll grab a dimension on it just to make sure. And it's not. So that's actually 36 and 9 and 9. So 36, 9 and 5/8. So 4 foot 3. No. 43 and 5/8 inches. 41 inches. So I'll do this. I'll go ahead and delete that guy. Actually, we could just leave this and use that in our door name. So just leave it here for a second. Select all of this again. Type in block now. It'll come up to our block editor or our block definition. We're going to call it exterior door, 3 foot 9 and 5/8, 3 foot 9 space 5/8 inch. And actually, I don't think it likes me to put the inches, so I will typically do 3 foot 9 and 5/8 inches. And then the most important thing when you're building a block, okay, is to specify your insertion point. This is something a lot of people, they're like, hey, I'm going to build this block, and then they try to put it in from the blocks palette. Okay, and when they try to put it in, they don't know where it is because they didn't pick a point or specify where they wanted to insert this. So I always use this specify on screen. Why did that not? Sorry, this pick point, there you go. That's what I wanted. And I choose the bottom left corner typically. That now gives an X and Y axis to the origin of where this block was drawn. So if I click OK, yeah, it's not letting me do 5/8, which is fine. It doesn't like characters. So now if I went to the block palette real quick, and I know this is a little bit more than you're going to be doing all the time, but it's good to know. If I open up this blocks palette, here's this block now, and when I grab it and drag it over, you can see exactly where that block is going to place, right? If I didn't do that, it would just drag in and it would place somewhere randomly on the screen. So a little bit more advanced, I know, than you were looking for there on a block and how to use it. Okay, you wanted to know how to rotate a block. Okay, so that's the next thing. Let's go ahead real quick now that I've put a door in, and we'll get back to adding the rest of our blocks in a minute. But now that we've got a door in there, let's go ahead and add a toilet in that bathroom. So I'll just grab this guy here. Again, I'm going to use my copy. I'll specify this back corner, that's fine. Take my ortho off to be able to bring it and drop it right here. Very simple. With a block, you should be able to rotate in any direction. Use your rotate command up here in your modified tab. Specify your center of rotation and how many degrees you want to go. So we could go around like that. We could also turn the ortho on and it will just automatically try to snap you in 90-degree increments. So maybe I want it facing this way. Now I can grab this, use my move command, and take my ortho off, and maybe I want to put it right here in that corner. And you should be able to do that with any block. Same thing with this block if I wanted to for some reason. Let's say I had a door over here, right? I could copy this over, take my block, use my rotate command up here or RO on your keyboard, specify your base point, and then you can be rotating in either 90-degree increments or I can specify the angle of rotation. So maybe I had something at a 45 degrees. I could go 45 degrees to the left and it will rotate 45 degrees to the left.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions about blocks real quick and block use? We will get more into the block editor. But I just want to get you familiar with blocks, using them, placing them before we start taking them, editing them, exploding them. But that was a good little lesson here on how to change the end of your block. And maybe you don't even want it to look like this, right? Maybe you want the jam to be a little different. You could modify any of that geometry, draw any of your own lines, and use your block command to make it a block again after you've exploded it. You just can't do anything with a block while it's still in block form, right? You have to explode it in order to edit those individual parts and pieces. And explode is as simple as it sounds. Literally, I type in explode. Oh, what just happened? I type in EXPLODE and automatically it's exploded all of those items into what they're originally drawn with, which is this is a rectangle. This is an arc, right? This was another rectangle. This was another this was a polyline, right? So depending on that, these were all different polylines, and you can see the line type and the line weight and what layer it is, and maybe you didn't want it hidden. We could change it to a different, dashed layer, right? So you can do anything you want to these blocks. They're just a starting point. So don't be like, hey, I don't have a block that does this. We can take whatever you have and update it, modify it, use our commands that we've learned. Like, Will drew all those blocks from scratch. We now, if we go over to the kitchen blocks, which we're going to bring in right now, nice segue, Graham. We're going to come back over to these kitchen blocks, which is even the next one down. How lucky is that? Download those blocks, open them up. Same as before, right? You're just going to go ahead and top left corner, click once, bottom right corner, click again, and use our Control C copy clip command. So Control C, we're going to go back over to our week 6 drawing. Control V to paste these in. Again, don't worry about where those extra title blocks end up. We can always click them and delete them. But now you can start seeing sinks that have a little bit more detail than what the basics were that Will drew, and which was great, right? That's a great start. It had the basic openings, it had these chamfered corners like this, but these ones, right? They've got all the handle of the faucet. They've got the strainer grills in them, right? Maybe you've got a little ridged area back here for setting utensils on, or not utensils, but like scrub brushes and that kind of stuff. So there's a lot out here um, that we can utilize, right? And so I've tried to give you enough to be able to you guys to have a library to be creative, kind of show what you like, your style, right? Maybe you want more square things. Maybe you like things, pedestal sinks. Maybe you like stuff that you should be able to find all of those different block options. So let's go ahead and take one of these sinks. And I'm going to find something that's pretty small. Again, we don't want something massive, but I do want something that's going to suit my needs. So I like this guy here. I'm going to use my copy command. And that's typing in copy or using this copy up here rather than Control C. And what this does is allows me to go ahead and choose, the back center of that and now come over to here, and maybe I want to put it right in this bay window. So I actually just put it right in that back center. Now I can use my rotate command. I can choose this as my rotation base point. And in 2 moves, oh, whoops. Rotate. Base point, right, the midpoint there, and we'll do it here. There we go. Click. And now I've put in a sink. And not only have I put in a sink, but I've put it in a sink that's centered in the bay window right now. And maybe I need to have some room for some grout or a countertop. So let's just go ahead and move this out. So let's go ahead and say, hey, I want to move this out, orthally, right? And sometimes if you try to move it out just a little bit and you've got other items here, right? The object snaps are trying to take over. You can see that all those green object snaps are coming into play. Well, a lot of times that happens when you've got objects that are near the original source. But if you just drag this way out here, right? And I know that it's really easy. I can't make a mistake of, am I going sideways at all? Am I still centered? Right? That ortho keeps me, I can even move my mouse down here, up here. It doesn't matter. All that matters is I'm ortho, I'm away from the wall, and I want to move it 2 inches. So I can type in 2 inches, hit enter, and now I've got that sink 2 inches away. And, maybe that's perfect for that area. And I just want to go ahead and draw in, maybe I want to draw on a line here, give it a 2-inch. Right, I'll take that line, extend it down to here. And then knowing where I'm at, let's go ahead and give it, because I want it to kind of symmetrical in the hole. Let's go ahead and give it, I'm going to put a and I'm going to put a 1/2 inch backsplash on this. So I'm going to move this 1.5 inches. So I'll move it straight over 1.5 inches. Again, you don't need to type in inches. I always just get used to typing in the units. That way there's no mistaking it, whether it's in inches or feet. It knows what you're trying to tell it, right? And then last but not least, I'll use the same line, copy it from here back to here, and take it and move it a 1/2 inch. Again, I can just go as far as I want or as little as I want, as long as an O snap isn't trying to override where I'm putting that line. All right, so I move it out. I want to move it 0.5 inches. And there's my little, you know, and I guess I could even do this just to emphasize what this is. Copy this back and put it here as well. And now you've got a little area. Maybe I want the black backsplash going all around. That sounds like a good idea, right? So I could, again, draw a line from here to here, copy it out a 1/2 inch, right? Because that was our distance of our backsplash. Also copy it to this line. Select this line and copy it out a 1/2 inch for the symmetry. And looks like we need to just go ahead and extend this one to the corner and trim out this piece right there. And same thing on this side. All right, so what we did here is we started with that basic shape of the sink, right? And we combined utilizing the sink, rotating the sink, moving the sink off the wall, and then once we found a place for it, drawing in our own countertop in this area, right? So don't let what you have in this block library be restrict you, is what I'm getting at, right? If there's not a counter for you, draw your own counter. If there's not a backsplash for you, draw your own backsplash. Okay, if you want to change something, right? If you wanted to add something to this, maybe you don't like that drain location. We could explode this. And I could take both these circles, and maybe the drains are more in the center of the let's do that. Let's put the drain right in the center of the opening, right? Maybe that fits your design, your needs a little bit better. Okay. Again, I'm going a little above and beyond. I'm just trying to show you, what you can do with some basic tools. So I'm going to draw a line between the center point of there to the center point. I'll take my ortho off to the center point of here. Same thing with the other one. Again, they're different sizes, but it doesn't matter when you draw a diagonal line. And we'll make sure that we get that center. And I'm going to go ahead and move this from the center of the circle to the midpoint of the line. Same thing here, move this from the center of the circle to, and you might have to hit tab, oh, there it is, to the triangle, which is the midpoint. Take both of these lines, erase them, and now I've updated and modified that sink, right, to fit whatever I was thinking, right? Don't let this restrict you. Maybe you want a fridge, a different door on your fridge, right? So I think we've got some fridges right here. Maybe you wanted to put a magnet on your fridge that said, have a great day, right? Anything you want to do, you can do, right? I know it sounds cheesy, but, you know, Minecraft, this is Minecraft, this is where that all came from. And you don't have limitations, just like in that game. I'm sure some of you have kids or know people that play it. I mean, it's a bunch of building blocks, and you can make a sign that says "Do not enter," Graham's hideout, right? Or whatever. Like my son plays it a little bit, and I'll be playing, I say playing, I'll be modeling some of my stuff, which I do want to get into at the end if anyone wants to hang out. Last 5 minutes, I will show you guys a little bit of some of the stuff that I'm working on, and it's kind of a cool segue into Revit and or what's coming up next in Winter Quarter. Obviously, it's not going to be to the level that you'll be seeing, but utilizing a different software that is a 3D modeling software instead of just 2D stuff. So again, sinks, hoods, right? Ranges, top, ovens, you name it, they're in here. Right, so maybe I wanted to grab one of these fridges. Again, all the stuff in these are going to be from plan down, so fridges are kind of hard in a plan down view, but we'll get this guy, copy it, again, bring it over to our, maybe I'll have, maybe it'll be something like this where I have a fridge here. And then, I could just go ahead and start drawing a basic countertop if I don't have one, right? Or a polyline. So grab that. I could come off of here down. Let's go. Let's say I want to match that. So we'll just go 2 feet. Move this over. That'll probably be the edge of that. I'll take this same line because I like symmetry on stuff. Maybe it's a deeper counter, but not today. I'm gonna copy this over and I can rotate with a base point. So use my base point of that wall, rotate it 90 degrees. And come on, there you go. And then with two more, or with two more lines, we can just go ahead and draw one line this way, one line this way, right, and trim off these edges. And now I've got a fridge and it looks like, a little bit of a working area. And I could come here and grab a stovetop. Maybe just a little 4 burner. I don't want it with a range. I guess I could have it with a range. Maybe. And this is the beauty of this, right? So I kind of like that one, right? We're not set in stone with anything. So we could take this over, right? I'll take my ortho off, bring it over to my little house. Well, you know what? I'd rather have the stove there. Okay. Well, let's place that stove. Let's move the fridge over and make room for our stove, right? So even though this is a little place, I've already done a pretty good job of utilizing some space in here. I got a stove, I got a fridge, I got a countertop. I mean, that's enough room for a small place. Make this into put a dining table here if I want, a little TV and a little bed. That's pretty much all we need. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. We've brought in how many blocks now? 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of blocks. Let's bring in the following two. So let's go download go back to my modules. We'll download the sofa block. Let's go ahead and copy this guy. Utilizing our Control C, our copy clip command. Control V to paste it back in. And then let's just go ahead, last but not least, just grab this last one. We'll grab the chair blocks. Top left, bottom right, Control C, and Control V, and we'll bring these in again. There might be some remnants of some extra title blocks. I don't know what happens with this. It got really funky one day, and they just started popping in random places. Um, but yeah, so let's look at my little area. Probably want to put a little TV here. Let's put a little round couch facing that way. So that looks good. Copy this guy, put him right there, and let's go ahead and, and maybe well, I could rotate this, okay? And this is the other thing too, right? I could rotate this and rotate it right here, and I could, spin it 90 degrees, and that works. But does that fit my room well? And I could do it this, but that's not really what I want to do, right? So maybe sometimes you want to utilize some of your modifier commands, okay? And so I'm going to take this, and I'm actually going to use my mirror modifier. I'm going to say my first point is here. My next point is here. I do want to erase the source object because I don't need two couches. And now I got a couch that works for my needs. And I'll take that ortho off and I'll get that placed and, you know, maybe something like this. And so what else do we need in here? He needs a way to clean himself, right? Or herself. So let's get a sink in the bathroom. I'm actually gonna put that sink right here. Let's see, where's my door gonna go? Hmm, I'll put my sink here and I'll rotate it 90 degrees around center, sure. And they're gonna get a little corner shower. And I'm gonna copy with that base point of the backside, back corner. So that way when I place it in here, I can choose that back corner. And I can go ahead and utilize that back corner as a rotation point. Turn my ortho on and drop that right there. Oh, that looks like a bathtub, doesn't it? That's way too big. There's my little showers. Here, that's what I wanted, these little guys. There we go. That's gonna be better. Same thing. Utilize my rotate command, specify the base point, turn on my ortho. Perfect. Okay, and I could have a door that kind of opens up this way. Um, I'll find a small little door for that. So let's go down here. There might even be some little pocket doors in here. But sure. Oh, look at this. We could just do one of these guys. That's more of a closet door, but I'll use it for this purpose. It's a small little place.
Quick question.
Yes.
We don't have to add, well, I know we have to add a decent bit of stuff, but we don't have to add as much as that, right?
I mean, I don't know. Like that's the thing. Like you're gonna get out of it what you put into it, right? So
Gotcha.
has this take? I don't think this is one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. I was gonna say you needed 10 pieces, so I'm right there. So yeah, you do.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like that's kind of a question. Like we don't have to do this much work, right? Like if that's the case, why are we here?
No, I was just asking
I
because
know, but
I was
you're
gonna
asking
ask,
because you're
how
like
do we?
thinking this is a lot of work.
No. Sorry, I should have reworded it better. I'm just asking that because how do you shrink stuff? Can you shrink stuff? That's why.
Why do we need to shrink something?
To put more stuff in the room.
Okay, but I don't want you shrinking something because everything that we're dealing with here is to scale.
Oh. Oh.
You can't just shrink it and make it smaller and now you can't fit through the doorway. Later on, we'll have a bigger room, but if we start scaling stuff, then what's the point of any of these measurements? What's the point of this being like, I could take this and I could take it and I could scale the whole thing and specify a base point and make a little tiny stove. Okay, but
I
are you
was
gonna
just
have
picturing a very tiny toilet.
right? That's what you see what I'm saying though? Like I'm not gonna the scale of this building is 20 feet. That's why we draw to a line that's 20 feet long. So I'm not saying you need to put more stuff in there than me, but I'm choosing objects that allow us to, and maybe I'll put this door right there. Perfect. Okay, so you've got a little pocket door that opens up. Okay, go into your bathroom. Okay, and then I'm gonna go find like a bed, right? And maybe I want to put a bed with a little rug. Let's see what how do I want to put this? I've probably got a nice room for to get this little tiny bed right here. The thing is, when you go to the store, I guess you could go buy a miniature version of everything, but like we really don't want to be scaling things just to change the size of something that is already to scale. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this bed up here. And actually, to get this right on the money, why don't I go ahead and move this with the base point of the center of the bed, turn my ortho off, go put it in the center of this opening right here, move it down roughly, I don't know, 2 inches. Okay, now you've got this door. Maybe this needs to flip a little bit. Maybe this wants to be, why don't we do this? It's going to be tight a little bit, but I'll just go ahead and get a swing door here.
AutoCAD is so cool. Not gonna lie.
It is cool, right? It's fun.
Yeah, it really is like Minecraft. I didn't think of it that way until you said it, but
It's funny
yeah.
because, and you'll see it in like 3 minutes. I'm going to do 3 more minutes and then I'll get 5 minutes of my. All right, let's do that real quick. What did that do wrong? That didn't rotate. No, I want to just mirror this. Uh, yeah, so now I just want to mirror that again.
What was the interior wall offset?
They're 4 inches.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so there we go. I got something facing the direction I want. I didn't want to have a door that was swinging into my shower or my bath or whatever that is. I think it's a shower. I want it to be a shower, so I'll call it a shower. Okay, and I'll just put this right there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just move it down. So that way the jam is right where the wall is. That's where you'd frame it in. Move it down parallel. Okay, so now you've got that. You've got a doorknob on that. You can see that door swing, right? That bed fits in there nicely. Okay. Last but not least, maybe I want to find, I've got an oven, I got a range, got a sofa. Maybe I want a chair. Let's see. Can't really fit too much of a chair. Maybe I want to hang out over there for a little bit. I don't know if I've got any rugs over here. Let's see. Where's my beds? Can I take a rug? There's something in here that I could steal a rug from. It's not halfway covered. Oh, there we go, right here. That's what I want. Boom. All right, so maybe you want to do something like this too, okay? Maybe you only want part of it. Copy this over, right? And this is going to be the last piece I put in here. Okay, so I want you to have at least 8. Okay, I put 10 in. If you put more in, if you put 15 or you put, if you could, nah, I'm not gonna do that. If you get 10 in there, I'll make sure you get, a half a point extra. Make it fit, make it right. I'll look at it and see what we can do. Again, this door is probably really big for that apartment, but maybe it's handicap accessible. But that wouldn't be, so I don't really care. All right, I'm gonna explode this whole thing. I'm gonna delete this bed over here. And I'm gonna put this back together. I'm gonna call it my rug. Okay, and I am gonna move it like right there. And now we've got a cool little interior of a house, right? Any questions before I switch gear and kind of show you something else and excite you?
Sorry, just to clarify, how many blocks did you say minimum?
I'd like for you to have minimum 5 blocks. If you get 10 in there, I'll give you a half a point of extra credit.
Okay.
Okay, so this should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did I count that door already? I think maybe 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got 11 in mine. So there you go. And you could come in here, you could put in a microwave sitting on here. You could put in a cutting board sitting on there, right? Like how easy would that be to draw a little cutting board, right? You could put in whatever you want. If you don't have a block for it, draw it. If you don't know how big it is, go find something online and figure out how big it is and draw it 22 inches by 13 inches if you want a specific size cutting board, right? All of these blocks are drawn that way, right? Just where did they come from? Who took the measurement and who drew it up? All right. So please submit. Again, take a screenshot of that. Right, and I'll go ahead and just do a save. I'll put it in my admins folder and week 6, right? So, all right. So we were talking about some lights earlier. William had brought up that he had done some lighting and put some kind of copied his floor plan for the clinic and had put some lighting in it. It kind of brought me to what I've been doing, which is this. So I'm going to bring up a set of plans real quick. What you're seeing here is well, we got 24 feet between grid lines. So what's that? 100 feet, roughly 200 by 200-foot area right now. And this is one of 36 sectors in this building. It's massive, right? So this is huge. Um, But here's all the lighting for it. Okay, and so I'm looking at an RCP. I'm drawing in lights. I'm marking up where I'm putting my lights and where the runs are and how I'm supporting it. I'm also looking at the circuitry and running all this out. So I'm actually modeling all of this, all the lights, all the circuits, how they clamp, where they clamp to the beams, what what conduits are there, what's feeding. If you click on this, you can see there's going to be circuit. This is fed in an inch and a quarter off of, it's feeding the L37 lights. It's fed off of NH4BA1G1, right? And this currently is carrying 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. And when I move down to the next one, we drop circuit 8. Okay, so this is actually being wired all the way back. Um, so this all gets tied together with MC where I've got to split it. I come up and jump over to a beam, come down across. Okay, and let's look at 446. So this is the other half of this where I split this conduit right here. I actually have to go another 200 feet to go hit the panel that I'm actually getting my circuit from because it doesn't exist in this area. So once I leave that area, I travel down here, jump up and over ductwork, over a bunch of stuff, travel another floor about 40 feet up in the air, jump onto a bunch of other conduits, and finally back into the panel. So that being said, that's what this looks like. So this is the game we play in. This is the second half of it that I'm going to show you. It's actually in two models right now. So what you're going to see right now is essentially from right here up and over, and then I'll bring you back the other way in a second, but that's just where this is set up. So we coordinate utilizing Navisworks, and we've got models that show everything but this white pipe right here. So I'll go ahead and select this work package. So everything that's blue is this conduit you're seeing. It's coming up through a blockout that's existing, jumps onto a rack. It's running on the backside of that rack right there, so it's being supported. It's coming up and over, dropping down onto another rack of its own, coming across here, and then feeding down into the electrical panel. So that's where it's actually getting its electricity from. So if we go backwards the other way, turn the corner. And this is what's called Navisworks. This is how we view everybody in the building and every trade and because I can't just model something and expect it to work. So I have to model it, check it, look at all the other trades, then we run through clash detection. So if I go down here and I go to level 30, sector 1, hopefully it doesn't, of course, it reset my location because that's how this works, but that's okay. I'm going to get you right back to where you were. So here's that area. Let's go to. It's a big video game. This is what we do, and it's a really cool field. Let's hide unselected. Go find that conduit right now. There it is over here. Okay. So here I am. This is where I exit the floor and came up above in that other rack. So now we're underneath here. We work our way down. So that's where we jumped onto that rack. We work our way underneath there. And now we're coming out here over, riding along this beam for a little while. Come up and over here, kick up so we can get the clearance that we need to get over this ductwork, but still stay underneath that sprinkler line. Okay, get through the wall, and then we offset over this duct, and that's where I get into another model because this is all segmented. So we'll go back to go to hide unselected, and we'll pick that pipe back up real quick. Oh, it's in. Why am I not there? We go. Here we go, right here. So pick this pipe back up right here. All right, here we are. Here's my pipe down here, riding along my rack system that I have with another set of conduits. jumping through the wall, offsetting up a little bit right there. There's a little tiny transition. You can't really see it, but it changes elevation. Oh, there it is. There's that little offset. Jump up to the next rack, jump up and finally into my electric box. Uh, then I finally jump over right along these beams on the other side, come down here, and I can finally start to distribute all the way down, and I drop a circuit every single run, and then that circuit will run for about 400 feet. So you were talking about lighting. I was just showing you
That's
what lighting in the 3D world is like.
Can I ask a quick question
Yeah, please
about
do.
this? Yeah, this is so you mentioned it. There's clash detection.
There
Is
is.
there also is that a it's like a plug-in or an add-on or how did
That's what
you?
Navisworks is all about. So I'm not going
Okay,
to get into it tonight,
that's
but
fair. Yeah.
ultimately, what we can do is we can go to this right here. If we go to here, we can go to Clash Detective. Okay. And
Okay.
so what this does, and this is all set up for other people and contractors and stuff right now, but
Yeah.
what we can do is we can create a new clash. So I can add a test to my model and say, I want this package right here to clash against all of the other packages. And I can say run test, and it's going to go through there, and it's going to tell me anywhere that I'm hitting something, anywhere where those two items intersect. 217 found. Now, a lot of things are probably clearances. A lot of things are probably something that are BS, right? It's
Mm,
a lot of stuff is I'm going through a wall. Okay, I can go through the wall, right? That's allowed. But that's what we do is we go through all these clash reports. They're saying I'm clashing with this rod and this strut. No shit, because it's my own stuff. So I'm not getting into the clashing, but that's what we do is deal with, oh, how does this file does this file touch this other file and who needs to move and do what? And
right.
make it
That's
constructive.
fair. It just made me think about like code compliance type things with this. I don't want to get in the rabbit hole tonight.
Sure.
I was
But
just yeah.
that's yeah, that's ultimately what I do is figure out I take a 2D set of plans that you saw that says ultimately it says, hey, this is coming from this panel, it's got this circuit, right? So I can go to my equipment plans. I can say, where is that? It's on level 40 sector 1. Here's the panel right here that everything's being fed out of. So I'm coming down and I haven't marked this up yet now that I found my route, but I'll mark this up on my equipment, my lighting plans that I've come down here. And actually I can show you that kind of like in sector 10. Uh, Here's a good example. So like everywhere where I've run different conduits and how I've run it and what circuits it's on is all marked up on a Bluebeam document as well. Um, so if I die in the night, someone could take over and know what I've done.
Expendable.
Also help. Nah, it also helps you plan.
No, no.
That's the whole point. Is just
Yeah.
plan. Yeah, yeah, right. At this point, I was supposed to get all that stuff, all my stuff done by next Friday, and they told me that this morning, and I'm done.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah. So no, they're not going to get rid of me that quickly. I don't think so.
No.
But anyhow, so that's the 3D world I live in of, just basic trying to get through a building, trying to get up and over and through this area and not hit that pipe but be over this pipe and underneath that pipe and where's this happy zone? And I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, but we need more people in this trade. And if it's something that excites you and think you're, interested in, um, it's why I'm trying to develop this program so we can teach this and we can do a clash detection and we can actually start looking at real world scenarios or at least real world examples, right? We wouldn't start with a building like this. This is one of the largest buildings in the country. So,
Mhm.
I mean, it's $100 billion and that's not gonna
Yeesh.
be the budget at all. It's gonna probably end up costing about 150 for this first building because of all types of stuff. Anyhow, it's massive. It's 30 times the size of Seahawks Stadium. Yeah. So
Like
it's
the Super Costco from wherever that movie is.
what? Uh, you talking with Dane Cook?
Yeah, yeah. Or they're, what is it? Mountain Dew or whatever. The
Yeah.
props. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what this reminds me of.
So anyhow, it's a really cool field, especially if you know, like 3D, like modeling, like it's a super cool. Something again, I dropped my pursuit as a construction manager, a project manager, and doing all of that about a decade ago to pursue this full time. This excites my brain. There's so much more than what meets the eye because what we see is literally a 2D drawing that says, how do you get here to here? And so here's my Revit portion of it. So you can see all this in Revit and how it models. And we use Revit to model. That Navis is just a viewer. All it does is allows us to see things. Everything's just an export. So I'll go here, I'll go to my work package, and then I'll export this, refresh it in Navis and see what happens. Did that offset move in a location that I'm no longer hitting somebody, right? Or whatever. And you just keep massaging it until you can get a product that's constructible.
Yeah, truly.
So. Anyhow, kind of cool stuff. I already modeled like all the equipment in this building, and now I'm taking on all the lighting, I guess. Not what I wanted to sign up for, but
Yeah.
someone's got to do it. But yeah, it's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
and literally you're modeling everything from, every piece of support and everything is scheduled and can be ordered off of a schedule that is provided right out of Revit. And here's every part and piece that you need. Not for just lighting, but for all the feeders, for all of everything. Like if I do this here, and this might be kind of cool for you to see real quick. If people want to drop, that's fine, but it looks like people are still on. So if you want to hang out and keep learning here, but let's do this. I'll go to a different 3D view and you can see what this whole sector actually looks like. That's not just my content and see what else is in here because the point of Revit is we've got all these cool blocks in AutoCAD. We got this stuff and we kind of like maxed it out. Back in like the 90s, they kind of maxed AutoCAD out. It was the restriction, it's an XYZ vector-based program. You really can't put a whole lot more into it because that's the platform isn't set up for that. Whereas Revit is built with essentially an Excel or a database backlog where every single part and piece has what's called metadata that we embed information inside of all these parts and pieces. So not only can we model them on the front side, but more importantly, we can schedule them on the back side and everything can be ordered straight out of it.
So is it in Revit, is it creating like a point cloud in a
Uh,
what?
well, a point cloud, so it's kind of the opposite of a point cloud. We create a
Oh,
Trimble file.
okay.
So we create what's called a Trimble file, so here's this is the area that I was looking at. You can see all the rest of the steel, and if I drop this down, this is like 40 feet up in the air. But if we drop this down, you can see the rest of what's in here. But no, so a point cloud is, and if you take my BIM class, you'll learn all about this too. That's one of our BIM focuses. Uh,
Mm,
but a point cloud is a scan. So you go in and you scan it, and it's going to be important to have a point cloud later because we have to provide a document that matches within an eighth of an inch of the scan document.
got
So
it.
we may have to go back and update locations if they put them slightly different in the field. We, on my side, model it and then provide them a Trimble file, which essentially is a robotic total station that will shoot a laser or shoot a head and tell them exactly where to place something. And that's how they place everything. And it's all placed within a 16th of an inch of what we model. So that way we're not going back later and if they need it in a different location, we put it in a different location and send out a new Trimble file. So we're not going back and as-belting anything. we're true building it, what they're doing in the field based on what we want. If they find some unforeseen field condition, we'll update it prior to them even installing. So that way they have a file that is truly what they need, not a file
Yeah,
that is similar. And now we have to go back and we scan all this stuff. All right, so here's this building. It's pretty wild.
that is so unreal. Thank you for explaining that. I'm only aware of the point cloud just
Yeah, so in a
for
point cloud,
yeah.
just keep in mind this. So a point cloud is all based on a couple things. You're based on your point, and we've got a guy that literally was hired on my team just to deal with point cloud files. Because they're gonna start scanning everything and we're gonna have to be comparing it with everything. So like even though it's not what we want to do, it's still part of the process for the QC era of it. And they can pull it out and see like, look, you're off right here. They can put it right against the model and see it. The problem with a point cloud is it's millions and millions and hundreds of millions, probably billions by the time this building is, of individual tiny points. And so the rendering time and the being able to utilize all of that information efficiently is almost impossible. You can't model with a point cloud turned on. It's just your machine is bogged down. Like this machine that I'm running right now. Let's see what the uh what I want to set. Uh, Here, view my PC. I don't know. But
About this PC or
oh, yeah, that's what I was trying to
yeah.
find about your PC. That's what it was under system settings. Anyhow, I think this is running like something ridiculous. Let's see. 24 core processor with 220 gigs of RAM. And
Yeah. Oh wow.
so this
Yeah.
machine is technically not even a real physical machine. It lives in a server over in like it's just parts and pieces put together in a server with like I don't even know what the freaking internet speed is. This is crazy. You guys probably will never see this, but um watch this.
Yeah.
7
Wait, let me
gigs.
don't click out. I want to take a picture. It's I have a few
Just
buddies who
just wait
like
for
this.
just wait for the upload too. It
When
lives in a server.
I send this picture to my buddies and not say anything and like, yeah, I just got new internet. It's really good.
Yeah, you should, so anyhow, you can take a picture. I don't care. That's funny. But
Yeah.
yeah, so like even with all of that, what I'm getting at is even with
Mhm.
internet speed like that, even with a computer that's built like this, it's a virtual machine that literally is managed by, a third party that's just there's just hundreds and hundreds of thousands of gigs of RAM just allocated to different machines in there. Just they're all virtual.
Right.
There's no physical desktop that's built. But even with the speed of that, this project takes an hour to open in the morning.
Wow.
This project, we've got a tool, RTB tools, that if I go to here every morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, my project will start opening for me. So that way, when 6 o'clock comes, I am up and running.
Mm.
Otherwise, we're wasting an hour every day just trying to open the file. So it's huge. It's a
Yeah.
massive, massive undertaking of a job. Um,
As the project goes on and you create more information, does it the opening time in theory get
oh yeah.
longer?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you know it. And now they're wanting us to model every single L bracket and every single piece of hardware and and all of that takes just takes more time. It's immensely huge as a project. So
Hey,
Got an
Graham.
office.
yeah, go for
Sorry,
it.
I had a real quick question,
Yeah,
but
please.
for on the AutoCAD for the
Yeah.
door jams, did you just explode it and then adjust the jams to the length of the walls?
I did.
Or okay, that's
Yep.
all you did? Okay, you just
Yeah,
couldn't
so I
explode
just
and then
exploded the whole thing, and then I just took that jam and drug the geometry of that jam. That jam geometry was like this. Right?
okay, and then I mean, this is like really small, but the bracket on the left side of the jam of that jam, it wasn't fully down all the way, but you don't care if it's dragged all the way down.
I drug it
You
all
just
the
feel
way
it.
down. It
Okay.
was only down. It was down as far as this was, right?
Yeah, or yeah,
Which
it
is
was like
which is the distance for a 4-inch door. I just drug it
yeah.
all the way. You can even
Okay.
do
All right,
this.
yeah.
You can delete that. I don't care.
Okay. Yeah,
You
I
know what I
mean, it's just
mean?
the bracket part that holds on to your hollow frame. I'm assuming it's a hollow frame.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
So
yeah.
you got it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Any other questions about AutoCAD? I know we kind of got off topic, but it seemed like people were interested. So when people are interested, I will keep showing things because the biggest thing is we need more people in this industry. Um, it's only still in I mean, it's not in its infancy anymore, but the bigger the buildings get, the more things get in there. Look at how many components are modeled in this. I mean, every single piece of tie wire and seismic cable we're clashing against, right? So this is going to come up as a clash and someone's going to have to fix that. So like our team right now, I think I've never worked with a team that's like I've worked with a 20-person BIM department before, and we have a 16-man team just for this job that I'm on right now, which is ridiculous. And so does every other trade contractor out there because there's so much content being modeled. There's so much in this building, and it's not going away. It's security, every single freaking, you know, pole station, everything. If you see it in a building, it's being modeled. Um, which just means more people and more jobs, right? And this job security is there. Starting to pay pretty decently, especially if you are good at what you do and understand what your trade is, right? So I'm specialized in electrical at this point. I've spent over a decade in electrical. I carry I know my codes very well at this point, or what I need to know anyways. So, but that kind of stuff, maybe you're interested in plumbing. Maybe you're interested in something else. Like it's a field that's not going away. Um, and it's not physical labor either. So it's kind of this cross between, and I feel that I can affect a project much more from this side of the driver's seat than I can writing the paychecks or scheduling the material to show up or ordering the wire, right? That stuff's important, 100%. But for me and the way that my brain works and the way that like I really enjoy making sure this project works and is buildable. Like the project managers are not doing that. It's all up to the CAD guys and the BIM guys, and you know, ultimately they install exactly what we model. And so there's this big trust there between everybody, and it's a cool field, right? So this is where I ultimately want to take this series of classes, at least to start looking at some of these, basic. We'd be talking about the same size clinic as Will brought up, right? Maybe something that big, maybe something half that size to start with, right? We don't have 16 people per trade contractor to model. We have 16 people total in a class broken up into maybe a few different trades. Maybe we'd have a plumbing group and a fire alarm group and a HVAC group and an electrical group, right? There's 4 basic trades. And we get a model that's kind of not necessarily constructible, and we'd all have to go through coordination meetings and how do we make this work? Okay. We'd go through a meeting, and then you on your own time afterwards would, or in the class, what I mean, but like outside of the meeting would go and make the adjustments that we assigned and come back the next week and do it again and get real world experience in it. Because I know I sit in meetings, not a ton, but I don't know, maybe 4 to 6 hours a week of coordination meetings, and if you don't do it, this process is all for naught, right? So we can all model, but if we don't work together in the sandbox and we don't have someone that's kind of directing that, or at least the trades are, working with each other to direct that, you're still going to end up with a product that out in the field, they're going to be installing something and then you come back through, hey, I'm hitting you. Well, that's where the 2D drawing showed us to be, and ultimately it's still contracted down to what is shown on these 2D drawings, what is shown where, where is this piece of equipment shown? Where is this if it's something needs to move? But there's so much more than just 2D, right? We've got a building that's in 3D. You've got an entire Z direction that isn't accounted for on 2D drawings. So getting through the pipe work, getting through duct work, getting through, the HVAC and the sprinklers and the, seismic bracing and the ceiling wires and all that stuff. I mean, so it's cool. If you've got more questions, reach out. I'm more than happy to continue this conversation. I appreciate you guys' gosh, half hour, but that was
That is so awesome.
okay.
So,
See
Yeah.
that
yeah,
at least,
I'm gonna.
Hey, so while you were showing that, I ended up making a nightstand for the bedroom.
right on. Well, good deal. And did you make it? Did you draw it from scratch or
Yep, I drew it from scratch on this because I didn't see one in the template.
perfect? And or maybe there is some, and that's the other thing. There are
Yeah,
some
you want to
nightstands.
see how neat it looks?
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Hold up just a second though, because I was just gonna finish what
Okay.
you were saying. Um, I think there probably are some nightstands if you want to utilize them, but they're probably attached to the beds, right? So go ahead and use this nightstand, but you
Oh yeah.
load that bed and then just use the nightstand out of it,
Oh,
right?
okay. Mine kind of looked like the one next to the one on the right,
Look at
but
that sweet telephone.
I did a little more detail.
Look, you can even tell that telephone's got some depth to it with that handle. I mean,
Nice. You're an artist.
I'm not. CADblocks.net is.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not taking
oh,
credit. I
sorry.
just,
I thought that was
oh no,
Lola.
I'm gonna stop sharing now. No,
Oh, yeah. Okay, so let me get it up here
now that
quick.
I blew you out of the water with that telephone. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no.
Oh, this one's slanted and has a curly cord on it. Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, there you go. Did you see it now?
Nice. Look
Oh,
at that
nice.
with the little drawer and everything. Heck,
Yeah.
dude,
And if, when you get in close, you can see it's even radiused on the doors.
I know you're killing it,
So
man.
I was
Mm.
learning the fillet part. That thing's kind of tricky at
It's
times.
fillet, by the way.
Fillet,
It's fillet. That's how you pronounce it.
fillet, fillet.
Yeah,
Oh, I like it filleted.
I know you can fillet it all day long. But that looks
Yeah,
great. No, I
yeah.
love it.
So
And I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to be restricted by what I'm giving you. This is just a baseline, a guideline
yeah.
of what's possible, right?
So
Look at the
yeah.
way you broke that up. That's awesome. You've got a bedroom, a master bed bath combo,
Yeah,
right?
almost. Yeah, and almost got it done because I can put a
Cool.
wall right here if I wanted to put a TV.
Yeah. I mean, whatever you want to do, but that looks great. I mean,
Oh yeah, it's just mine.
use
But
your
now I got to put
creativity.
make now I got to make a TV, right?
Whatever you want to do. That's the thing. I'm giving you some
Yeah.
options, but you can always draw your own, right?
Well, I figure you got so much footage to meet. That's all you got.
Right.
What are you gonna do with it?
Yep. Nope, that looks great though. I mean, and I love the outside of the box thinking with that, how to split that room up. That's great. Things like that are fun. I mean, and if you want to throw windows in, if you want to hatch your doors, if you want to hatch your walls, or not hatch your doors, if you want to hatch your walls,
Oh
whatever.
yeah,
Okay? I mean, make it your own. The more you put into it, the easier it's going to be to keep expanding that knowledge, right?
yeah. It's trying to figure out how to how do you say modify things out and then change
Again,
it.
take it, explode it, modify it, and then regroup it.
Yeah, yeah. This is a fun class.
Yeah, it is a fun class. You should have fun. And the next one's even more fun. So, next one is like, oh my gosh, why did we take this first class? But this is a great place to get started and start understanding drawings and how they're made and what we can do with basic tools. And then you can take off and go to the next program, Revit, which is takes all of that and allows you to model it in 3D very efficiently.
Yeah, that's what I mean, I enjoy this part. I think it's actually relaxing.
It is. And I think the biggest thing is right now we're working on floor plans, and this is very similar to how you draw floor plans in Revit. Maybe the walls will draw for you. You don't have to do the offsets necessarily. But the next weeks is when we start drawing profile views. That's when Revit starts to come into play, and it's like, oh my gosh, this program has power. Um, Whereas this one is still 2D drawing for the most part. So it's going to be fun. Please sign up for if you're interested in it. Please sign up. Construction 246 available winter quarter.
Okay, yeah, I get to see which one I'm taking. I'm on a schedule, but I can always modify it. And
Cool. All right.
yeah.
Well, if anyone has questions, I'm going to go through. I saw some people came late, so let me jump
Oh,
in here real quick and make sure I got.
all right. Well, hey, I'm gonna say goodbye. I'm gonna have to get going. My daughter is supposed to I'm supposed to take her to a movie tonight.
Well, then get out of here. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm enjoying myself as long as I can until I
I know
get
you are. That's
yeah
great.
yeah
All right,
yeah
Faraz,
because
I got
yeah
you. I got you signed in. Is there anyone else that's on
awesome.
here that I didn't get signed? Yanley, Regioberto, Razi, Grant, Joe. All right.
All
Cool.
right, hey, Grant, before class ends, I was gonna say I am gonna get last week's homework turned in
Okay.
tonight by midnight. I got a little bogged down this week, but
All right. Get it in.
if that's
Thank
it.
you.
Yep, thank you.
All
Okay,
right. All right.
bye.
Anyone else got anything before we end?
One last thing. After we're done, do we get rid of or remove all those templates out of there or leave them in?
You just close them.
Oh, okay.
Just save that and close them. In your final project, we can bring them back in if you want, or you can go grab other ones. I mean, I would save the project for today, right? That you've already
Yeah.
bought all those other. I wouldn't delete the. What are you talking templates? The ones that we downloaded?
Yeah. Well, I
Just
mean,
close.
I save them in my files too, so I always have them later.
Okay, well that's fine. I mean, but you don't need to keep them open or anything. You can
Okay.
close them all. Yeah.
I just leave it like full. Okay.
Yeah, here, I'll show you like I just do this. I just all these chair blocks, right? I mean chair blocks, I don't care. I'm not gonna save it. I close all of them. They're all gonna sit in your downloads if you need them again, or if you already saved them somewhere else, then that's fine. We will probably want to, and the reason I don't do this is it comes in really funny. Um, what we'll want to do probably is take when we get to it. So we'll take all of these and copy them into our final project so they're all available for you as a together thing instead of having to do it by itself. But when I've posted that by itself, it gets like it's too much for people to download and they get all screwed up. And I don't know why it screwed it up, but I tried to do a combined blocks file and it got really, really messed up. So I think it was something to do with the way these title blocks worked. um, it would just freak out and then it wouldn't allow you to copy them in. So one by one works, and then we can copy these into our final project. Or you can go to here, and that's the other thing. You could go to your block library. You could go to here. They're also going to be in your block palette, technically. Um, but you could go to here and copy this and bring it over to your, so you don't say you didn't want to have all of these beds in there, right? I liked having the choices, but I mean, you don't need all of them, right? So if you want to keep your file size down or just to have what you want, you could always just keep that bed blocks open and copy in one at a time as you need. So it doesn't matter. Either way works. You'll figure it out, I'm sure, what you want to do, but you don't need to save them. They're always available and uh they'll stay on Canvas as well. All right. Thanks everybody. I am gonna sign off and I'll post the video as soon as it's done uh doing its rendering and whatnot. All right, cool. Thank you.